my presentation on symmetrical layout. So my game idea I'm going with Roberto Armenia, and it's to create a game that is symmetrical and not asymmetrical. The reason I'm focusing on this layout is to reverse the dynamic of unfairness and unpredictability through RNG. So what this will allow me to do is to bring control and certainty within the gameplay, removing the random factor. So if it's a two-player board game, what this will be is both players, no matter what will happen, there will be no external factors. Every move they make will be on them, and there's nothing in the environment, code or anything to make any RNG situations occur. So it's logical why Riot Games made the game asymmetrical, as mentioned before, because the randomness creates underdog situations where if you're losing in a game, all it takes is essentially a miracle or some luck factor where you got the last hit, therefore creating a situation where you can use that momentum to once again snowball your team into victory. But the problem, as well as it's actually, there's also hidden mentions where the matchmaking in the game, known as MMR, have a technique where people on your team, if you guys overall rankings are higher, you'll automatically be placed at red side. So people with lower rankings are placed in the blue side to give them the layout advantage. So I understand that it's natural to understand and enjoy unpredictability. However, if it's two players basing themselves on their skill to outplay one another, and then one of them wins through a miracle, through RNG, a luck factor, it's extremely unfair and you feel like you've been cheated. Therefore, having this board game will take that cheated feeling away, and then it becomes both 1-to-1, 100% skill based. So my target audience I've gone for is the age of 10 years old, but officially can start at 13 plus. I've chosen this age because chess as a game can be taught at a young age. A lot of children, especially from what I know and seen, is in secondary schools, children in the library or primary school, they'll go to the library and learn to play chess, and taught by their parents or guardians, etc. The reasons I've also decided around 10 for 10. So the main reason I chose 10 was since the board games are learned at a young age. That's the base age. However, 13 can be the official age, as the League of Legends game itself is rated T for teens, as you can see from figure 4. So I thought if I wanted to carry on, I should probably keep the same official title. This way I am legally and ethically okay. So in terms of gender, I've gone with a more male demographic because in 2012 Riot Games released an actual demographic document showing that 90% of the player base, over 90% of the player base is male. But that was from 6 years ago. I'm assuming now though, it most likely will probably be around the same number. So therefore I've also gone with a more male audience, as it would probably appeal to them a lot more. Similar thing goes with chess. Throughout the known of time, it's been more of a male thing. Used to be played by tacticians and strategists, and even if you look at the grandmaster levels in both League of Legends and in chess, they're generally dominated by the male audience. So therefore it's like the primary reason I've gone with them. However, that isn't stopping females from playing the game. Essentially it is a unisex game, but it'll still be pushed more towards the male audience. Okay, so in terms of casual or hardcore, the theme I'm going for is definitely casual, because if we just type the demographics on Google on how long a game of League of Legends or chess is played, they both vary around anywhere from, well, chess can vary anywhere from 10 to 60 plus minutes. Now, because obviously depending on how long each player is and depends how skilled they are. Whereas the same thing happens also in League of Legends, and it can range from anywhere to 25 to 60 minutes, where depending on the variables. But this is only because chess has 20 pieces altogether, and League has 10 characters, 10 players playing at the same time. But whereas in my game it will be not as many pieces, and it will only be played by 2 people at a time. It's a 1 vs 1. So the idea is to go for the casual side of it, so the games can finish a lot faster, ideally going around for 10 minutes. So the genre that League of Legends is, primarily it's a MOBA, but secondary it's considered more of an action strategy game, and chess is fundamentally known to be a strategy game. Therefore, I will continue with that philosophy and make my board game a strategy game. So the idea here is just simply, when it comes to the layout with the asymmetrical map in League of Legends, the strategy, doesn't matter how good you are, eventually luck plays a factor in it. It can be if you're having a 1 vs 1 against another champion and you'd expect it to be a skill matchup, but there's always an uncertainty level of RNG that can automatically decide the fight no matter your skill. In chess, that it really doesn't exist, but the fact is the game itself can last too long, depending on if we imagine that both players are on a good level. Not saying if one's perfect and one's bad, then that's an unfair matchup. But if 2 players of the exact same matchup play either of them games, League of Legends or chess, the game is decided to be potentially a long game. So that's why we're going for the strategy genre. Now, League of Legends itself is a digital game, excuse me, and chess is more traditional. Chess can also be played. There are emulators and online, but I've stuck with keeping it traditional like chess, just because so I can make the symmetrical map playable without any randomness, unpredictable factors. So in terms of player engagement, we've learned that attention is not infinite. So no matter who the person is, inevitably concentration is broken. So in League of Legends, what happens is you may be focused when you're playing the game, but if you are to die, or if you're killing like a boss, sometimes your brain might just drift away. This is known as the term autopiloting. Whereas in chess, it's understandable that the player will be taking turns with each other with the timer and stuff. But when there are over 20 pieces to think about, eventually there comes a point where where your average person's brain might not be able to take that all in, especially our younger audience. So therefore, the player engagement in my board game, the plan is keep it short and snappy. We're ideally aiming for under 10 minutes. Therefore, the player is able to is forced actually to stay on top of the game, allowing each player to take moves simultaneously quickly. Therefore, engagement is always in the game.